that have helped us. Thank you very, very much. I want to thank our wonderful staff, without which we would not have been able to put this on. You guys know who you are. I appreciate you. Please stand up. Staff, stand up. And a special thanks to Amy Crawford and her staff, without which we would not have an event here today. Several years ago, in 1970, as a matter of fact, on a dusty road in northwest Florida, a farmer told my dad something that was profound. I didn't understand it at the time. I was 16 years old, but he understood it. He said, "Government don't work, people work." You know, I think we've come to realize that in the state of Florida. Government don't work. We have some problems with unemployment. We've got 1 million people unemployed in the state. We have some problems with uninsurance. We've got 1 million children that are uninsured in the state. We have some problems with people that are ungraduated, and too many that are incarcerated. Way too low that are unfunded in our high schools and our colleges. Students, are we satisfied with being the worst in these?
No!
Are we committed to being the first?
Yes!
Mr. President, I believe these students are ready to work. The President of the United States, and the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton, has been one that's understood that government don't work, that people work. As Attorney General, as Governor of the state of Arkansas, as President of the United States, and now as Chairman of the William Clinton Foundation, he has stood up throughout all these years for education, for things that really matter to people. During his term, the student loan program expanded in an amazing way. The school to work program, safe and drug-free schools. I had a chance when I was in New York to work with the President and his administration on immunization, where kids were immunized, where the WIC program, Women and Infant Children, was expanded, the Medical and Family Leave Act. So many inspiring things that were done in his administration, especially the AmeriCorps program. As the chairman of the William J. Clinton Foundation throughout the world now, in Africa with HIV, on global warming, and on issues of health and on education. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to introduce you the hero of North Korea. But after that introduction, if I had any sense, I wouldn't say anything. Thank you very much, Bud. I'm glad to see your brother Ed here, and I wish your mother well. David Lawrence, thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Former Secretary of State Candy Crawford, University of Central Florida Civics Mentor Teacher Program, thank you for your work. And in their absence, I too want to thank my longtime friends, Senator Bill Nelson and Senator Bob Graham and Senator Martinez. We wish him well in his retirement, coming home to Florida. I got out of here today. It's been cold and rainy in New York this year. And I got out of here and I sat down on the tarmac in that blistering heat. And I said, you know, it's warmer than it was in North Korea. I understand why he wants to come home, and I wish him well. I would like to begin in a very personal way. I've been privileged to come to Florida for one reason or another for a long time now. I think the first time I was invited to speak at the Florida Democratic Convention, as I remember, was in 1981. I was young then.
Well, I was born.
I had the remarkable privilege of working with Lawton Chiles when I was a governor and he was a senator.
when we were governors together, and it was a hoot. We had a very good time. We thought we could solve any problem, climb any mountain. And then when I became president, and he was still governor, I spent the night with him in the governor's residence once, and I never will forget it. We stayed up half the night talking, solved all the problems of the world. He was maybe the best combination of being tough-minded and warm-hearted of anybody I ever met in politics. And all of you young people here who couldn't have known him, you should be honored to be at a program named after him. He was a wonderful man, and I wish you were around today to help us tackle some of these challenges. Now, this is a really important conference for several reasons. First, it's the inaugural class of the Lawton Chiles Leadership Corps. And I am delighted that those of you who are part of it are here, because I think young people can lead Florida and lead our nation back to a better course, and because young people are doing more in this way than ever before. Last year we had record numbers of young people volunteering in the election, voting, participating, but it goes way beyond that. We've had a tripling of the applications to the AmeriCorps program, a doubling of the applications to the Teach for America program, any number of other service programs where young people know they'd have to defer making an income for a couple of years to go out and give to their community. The applications are way, way up. This is a healthy thing. It reflects an understanding that people have that being part of a successful 21st century society requires people to give back, to serve a larger good. And there is a practical reason for that. So I want to begin with the big picture. We live in the most interdependent age in all of human history. That is, across this whole globe, people are tied together as never before by travel, technology, immigration, shared scientific advances. And all you have to do is look around this room. Even in Florida, which has always been one of our more diverse states, if we were having this meeting 30 years ago, this would be a much more boring crowd. It's a more diverse, more interesting, thriving place. And indeed, one of the reasons that you're having the problems you're having with some of these rankings in the worst to first is that you just got so many people here who showed up in a relatively short amount of time, a very large number of young people and a very large number of retirees. A huge number of the young people come here from families with very modest incomes. Their first language is not English. They have to figure out how to integrate into this society. And they need an education every bit as much as anybody else does. But it presents formidable challenges. You have a large number of young people without health insurance, in part because the state's not been able to take maximum advantage of the Children's Health Insurance Program, which was enacted in my second term, partly because you have so many other claims on the state treasury. And there are lots of other issues. But the larger point I want to make is this, and I've made this all over the world, in remote villages in Rwanda, where a couple of years ago was in a village where we have an AIDS outreach program. And I met a 19-year-old girl and her 15-year-old brother. They had been orphaned since she was 12 and he was 8. She raised him. They were alone, but the villagers helped them. Both their parents died of AIDS. The young girl escaped the infection. The young boy inherited it from his mother. And he was so sick for most of the time that until we came in with our health program and he got life-saving medicine, he couldn't go to school. He was in 3rd grade at age 15. He was about this tall. Now, I got down and I looked in that young man's eyes and I said, because he's well now, he's getting medicine, getting health care. I said, I hope you're not going to quit. And he smiled and he